Daddy, can we have pancakes tonight? Ethan Miller looked down at his 7-year-old daughter, Lily, her blonde hair sticking out in every direction, and smiled despite the exhaustion tugging at his eyes. The single dad wiped his grease-stained hands on the rag, standing in the middle of his small auto repair shop. Sweetheart, he chuckled, pancakes are supposed to be for breakfast. So? Lily grinned, her missing front tooth making her look even more mischievous. You always say anything's possible if we try hard enough. That was Ethan's life in a nutshell. Impossible things, every single day. He wasn't just a mechanic, he was a veteran, a father, and a man who carried wounds deeper than the scars on his arms. Every morning he opened his shop, fixed broken cars, and went home to Lily. Simple, predictable, safe, until that night. Chapter 2, A Cop in Trouble. It was past 9 when Ethan finally closed up. The streets of Brookhaven were unusually quiet, shadows stretching long under the flickering street lamps. He was locking the gate when he heard Ida tires screeching, then a loud bang. Instinct kicked in, he tossed his rag aside, ran toward the sound, and found a black SUV smashed against a pole. The driver's side door was dented in. Inside, a woman in uniform was slumped over the wheel. "Hey!" Ethan shouted, yanking open the passenger side. The officer's face was pale, blood trickling from her temple. She stirred weakly. "Back up, a broken bar radio's dead." "A broken bar? I've got you," Ethan said firmly. "Stay with me." He pulled her out, laying her gently on the pavement. That's when he noticed the badge on her chest, Officer Harper Lane, and then the faint but chilling sound of another engine rumbling in the dark. Chapter 3, Shadows in the Dark. Headlights appeared at the far end of the street. A second SUV slowed, creeping closer. Ethan's gut tightened. Whoever had run her off the road wasn't finished. He grabbed Harper, hauling her behind a dumpster. "Don't make a sound," he whispered. The SUV rolled past, windows tinted black. The driver didn't stop, but Ethan could feel eyes scanning the street. After a tense minute, it vanished into the night. Harper groaned, clutching her side. "A broken bar, they'll kill me." "Who?" Ethan asked. Her voice was barely a whisper. "Cops, a broken bar, my own, a broken bar, they know." Ethan's blood ran cold. Chapter 4, The Mechanic and the Cop. Ethan carried Harper into his shop. Lily sat at the counter with her coloring book, eyes wide. "Daddy, what happened?" "Go grab the first aid kit, honey," Ethan said calmly. Lily darted off, while Harper tried to sit up. "You shouldn't a broken bar be involved." "They'll come after you too." Ethan set his jaw. "I've been hunted before." "You're safe here." Her sharp gaze softened slightly. "Why help me? You don't even know me." Ethan looked at his daughter and then back at her. "Because someone helped me once when I didn't deserve it." "I'm not just a mechanic, and you're not dying on my floor." Chapter 5, The Truth Unveiled. As Harper's breathing steadied, she explained, "There's corruption inside the department. Dirty cops working with traffickers. I found proof of documents, payments, surveillance logs. I was on my way to internal affairs when they ambushed me." Ethan felt his stomach twist. "So the people who are supposed to protect USA are the ones behind it," she finished grimly. "And now they know I'm a threat." Ethan leaned back against the wall, running a hand through his messy hair. He had promised himself never to get dragged into battles again, but this wasn't just her fight anymore, because Lily was sleeping in the next room, and if corruption could silence one cop, what would stop it from destroying the whole town? Chapter 6, A Dangerous Decision. By morning, Harper could stand again. She insisted on leaving, not wanting to endanger Ethan and Lily. But when she tried to step outside, Ethan blocked the door. "You won't make it 2 blocks before they find you," he said. "You need somewhere to hide, someone who won't sell you out." Her eyes searched his. "Why are you risking everything?" Ethan's voice was steady. "Because I know what it feels like to fight alone, and because Lily deserves to grow up in a town where she can trust the badge." That was the moment Harper realized that this quiet, grease-stained mechanic wasn't ordinary. He had the presence of a soldier, the resolve of a protector. Chapter 7, The Ghost of the Past. Over the next few days, Ethan sheltered Harper. She recovered, piecing together her evidence, while Ethan made calls to old military buddies, careful to avoid suspicion. But Harper wasn't just healing physically as she was curious. She noticed the military tattoo on Ethan's forearm, The way he always scanned windows before stepping outside, how he fixed cars like he'd been fixing armored vehicles his whole life. Finally, she asked, "Who are you really?" Ethan sighed. "U.S. Army Special Forces, retired. When my wife passed, I left it all behind to raise Lily. Been trying to keep my head down ever since." Harper nodded slowly. "But you can't hide from who you are." For the first time in years, Ethan realized she was right. Chapter 8. The First Attack. It happened on a Wednesday night. Ethan was closing the garage when 3 men in plainclothes stormed in, guns drawn. "Where's the cop?" one snarled. Lily froze behind the counter. Harper reached for her sidearm, but Ethan moved first. With lightning reflexes, he slammed a wrench into the first man's wrist, sending his gun skittering. A second lunged, but Ethan tackled him into an engine hoist, knocking him cold. The third aimed at Lilia until Harper fired a single shot, grazing his shoulder. He fled, cursing into the night. Lily burst into tears, clinging to Ethan. "Daddy, are we safe?" He kissed her head. "As long as I'm breathing, yes." But inside, he knew safety was an illusion. Chapter 9. Building the case. The attack forced their hand. Harper uploaded her files to Ethan's laptop. Together, they combed through bank transfers, photos, and phone logs. Names popped up: captains, lieutenants, even a deputy chief. The corruption was deeper than either imagined. "They're untouchable," Harper whispered. "No," Ethan said firmly. "Everyone has a weakness. We just have to find it." It wasn't just about survival anymore. It was about justice. Chapter 10. Allies in the Shadows. Ethan reached out to Marcus, an old comrade turned private investigator. With his help, they traced money to a shell company funding human trafficking routes. "This is enough to burn them all," Marcus said. "But you'll need someone on the inside who isn't dirty." Harper nodded. "I know one. Captain Renee Torres. She's the only one I'd trust with my life." So the plan was set. Deliver the files to Torres if they could survive long enough. Chapter 11. The Final Stand. The night they made their move, it was raining. Ethan loaded Harper into his truck while Lily stayed with Marcus's wife, safe for the first time in days. Halfway across town, 2 SUVs boxed them in. Ethan swerved hard, tires screeching. Bullets shattered the windshield. "Get down!" he shouted. Years of training kicked in. He rammed one SUV off the road, but the second kept chasing. Harper fired through the window, buying them seconds. They crashed through the gates of an abandoned warehouse, the perfect battleground. Ethan fought like a man with everything to lose. Wrench, fists, grit. He tore through the attackers while Harper covered him. Finally, the last man fell, breathing hard. Ethan looked at Harper. "This ends tonight." Chapter 12. Justice at last. They delivered the files to Captain Torres, who immediately contacted federal agents. Within 48 hours, the corrupt officers were arrested. News headlines exploded. Brookhaven finally saw the rot beneath its polished surface. Harper stood beside Ethan at the courthouse steps, reporters swarming. One asked, "Sir, what made you risk your life to protect her?" Ethan looked into the cameras, his hand resting on Lily's shoulder. "Because I'm not just a mechanic," he said. "I'm a father, a soldier, and when someone's fighting for the truth, you don't let them fight alone." Epilogue. A New Dawn. Months later, Ethan's shop was busier than ever. Locals trusted the man who had helped save their town. Harper visited often, sometimes in uniform, sometimes in plain clothes. One evening, Lily tugged Harper's sleeve. "Will you stay for pancakes tonight?" Harper smiled, glancing at Ethan. "Only if your dad makes enough for 3. Ethan laughed, flipping a pancake onto the skillet. For the first time in years, he felt something. He thought he'd lost a hope, because sometimes, the greatest battles weren't fought overseas. They were fought at home, with courage, compassion, and the belief that one ordinary person could change everything. And Ethan Miller, mechanic, father, veteran, he had proved just that.